Good evening, everybody. Just a polite reminder to use the microphone if you're looking to ask a question and state your name and the organisation you work for. We'll get underway with Nick Collins from Sky Sports News.
Gareth, hello. Wayne, hello. I'll start, if I may, just very quickly by checking if everybody's travelled. Have they?
Yes, they have, Nick. Yeah. We lost Tom Heaton with a minor calf injury yesterday, but and called Jordan Pickford in. But everybody else is fit and travelled. Yeah.
Okay. We understand that Wayne Rooney isn't going to start tomorrow. If that's the case, could you tell us why, please?
Yeah, it's very straightforward. We've looked at Slovenia, the way they play. From when I looked at that midway through last week, I knew in my mind the profile of midfield that we wanted to play and what was needed for this game. So in no way is it a reflection on Wayne's performance on Saturday. In fact, we were very pleased with what he did. We knew we'd have a lot of the ball. He dictated the game. He played with great tactical discipline. Of course, not an easy decision to take because of the respect I have for him as a player, as a person, as a captain of this team. We felt it was the right decision to go with the team that we're starting with.
As you say, a big decision. Could I ask how and when and where exactly you told him?
I felt it was important to give him time to think through how he wanted to deal with it. We spoke yesterday at length. I think that's the right thing to do. I'm conscious when you make a decision like that with Wayne, there's bigger implications. Immediately, not only did he accept the news with great professionalism, but he also was very keen to come and speak today. I wasn't so sure that was a good idea because I don't want to subject him to being in the spotlight more than he already is. But on reflection, I think it's a great opportunity for him to talk about his pride of playing for his country and to let you know exactly how he feels about it.
And in terms of Wayne's international future, as far as you're concerned, he very much does still have one up to 2018 when he said he'll probably call it a day.
Yeah, he's still captain of this team while I'm in charge. Everything I've seen this week has only improved the feeling of how impressive he's been as a leader of this group. Yesterday evening there was a meeting after we'd spoken, and I don't know if any of the other players knew the decision, but they would never have known by his input into that meeting, which was a reflection on Saturday's game. So the maturity in which he's gone about his work all week has impressed all of us.
Can I ask you who will be captain tomorrow then?
Yeah, Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Henderson, thank you very much. Wayne, I know you'll obviously be disappointed, but knowing you, I'm sure you'll be equally determined to force your way back into the starting lineup again on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think, of course, you want to play. I understand and respect the manager's decision, and I'll support the players 100% and try and help the players get 3 points tomorrow. So I'll be ready, of course, to come on from the bench if needed, and hopefully we can get 3 points. And again, I show great pride in playing for my country, whether that's from the start, whether that's from the bench with a squad of players, which I'm pleased to be involved with.
You've always talked before about how important the team is, and you obviously you'll do anything for that. Will it take some adjusting, though, trying to get used to actually being the captain of the group, but actually not being on the pitch on this occasion?
I think, of course, you want to be on the pitch. I think that goes without saying, but my role as captain, won't change off the pitch around the hotel with the players. That remains the same, and I'll be supporting the players 100%, which I've done over the last couple of days, and hoping that we can get the win.
Does this change in any way your plans in terms of your international future?
No, not at all. I think I've said before, if selected, I'm available to play. I love playing for my country. I want to do it. I made it clear last time I was here what my plans were, and then plans won't change. Whether there's no embarrassment, I show great pride in playing for my country, and whether that's from the bench, then that's from the bench. Nothing has changed in terms of my future over the next couple of years.
Can I just ask you about Wembley on Saturday? A few, and I hasten to say a very few, but a few fans appeared to boo you. I mean, how disappointed were you with that? I know your teammates came out and said what they had to say about it, but I just wonder what you made of that, Wayne.
To be honest, I wasn't aware of it. So I think football nowadays, sometimes that's part of the game, but I wasn't aware of it on the pitch, so I've nothing really to say on it.
You've always been a versatile player who can play in different positions, but has it perhaps made it harder for you, the fact that when you've played for Manchester United this season, you've been in a bit more of an attacking role compared to your England role in the last two games?
No, not at all. I think throughout my career I've played in various positions. I've played sometimes during games three or four positions, so I'm used to playing different positions at times. So I don't think that has any impact in me as a player or me both at club or international level.
So in terms of if you were to come on as a substitute, it could be to see a game out by playing in midfield, or even to try and score a winner or get England back into a game by playing further forward?
I think that's down to the manager. I think whether it's, as you said, whether it's to try and use my experience and try and see the game out, or come on and try and help us get a goal to get something out of the game or win the game, that's a decision the manager will have to make on the night.
Gareth, you mentioned Jordan Henderson is going to be captain of England. How impressed have you been with him?
Yeah, very impressed. I think what stood out for me, he's captained a football club where he had to take over from one of the most iconic figures in English football, and that would have been a difficult challenge for him. I think he's matured from that, and he's shown great leadership skills with his club. He's used to being the captain, which is also important, I think. And within this group of players, he's got a voice and an opinion. Very clear ideas on what he thinks we need to work on, and good tactical understanding. So again, not an easy decision because there are other senior players in that dressing room. But I think because he's captain in a big football club and he's used to that responsibility, it was the right decision for me.
Can we take it, if Wayne isn't playing, that Eric Dyer perhaps returns to the side?
Yes, that's right, yeah. And I think it's clear that you're talking about two different profiles of player, different attributes, different skills, and that's entirely the basis of the decision. You know, we're away from home, a different tactical challenge we expect from the opposition. So as the coach, you've got to look at what's the right setup for that particular game.
I appreciate you've told us two of the starters. Are there any other clues you might be able to give us?
Not particularly, but I think it was right. I knew with this situation that as soon as we started training today, obviously that would leak. I think it was important that it gave Wayne the opportunity to speak about that. It was pretty obvious that Eric would come into the frame, but outside of that, again, I don't feel the need to help the opposition too much.
And how impressed have you been with the way, with how well Wayne has spoken just now, telling us about it?
I go back to what I've witnessed at St George's Park over the last 2-3 years from afar. That's only been embellished by what I've witnessed this week. I think there's been a depth to his leadership which, you know, unfortunately people outside of the group wouldn't be aware of. I don't know what his long-term plans are, but he's almost like a coach within the dressing room for us already. So that's a huge compliment to his football intelligence, his understanding of the dynamic of the group, what's right for the group. But he's clearly still got a lot of football in him still, and a big contribution to make. But the maturity, I think, I would imagine there'll be coaches up and down the country talking to young players, because you often have difficult conversations with young players, or with any player. And when you're having it with a big player, I think respect is really important. I wanted to deal with this the right way. But I think a lot of coaches will turn to their young players and say, look, that's the way the England captain dealt with that situation. And it was refreshing and incredibly professional.
16 months ago, Wayne scored a late winner here. So basically you're saying history could yet repeat itself, albeit he might have to come off the bench to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've no crystal ball as to how the game is going to play out and what changes we're going to need to make. And Saturday we were forced into a change after a few minutes of the game. So we've got to be ready for all of those eventualities. That's again part of your planning for the match.
And just finally from me, how pivotal do you see this game as being? It was certainly a tough one in the last campaign, arguably the hardest and the best of all the qualifiers.
Yeah, I've been impressed with what I've seen of Slovenia. It's clearly a very tight group now with the way the other results have gone. We want to leave here top of the table, and to get a second away win would put us in a really strong position.
Gareth, Phil White, BBC News. Because it's your second game in charge and because it's a qualifier, how difficult a football decision is it to say to yourself, Wayne's not going to start tomorrow?
Well, it is a football decision, and as I said earlier, it's based on the profile of the opposition and the type of player we believe we need for this game. On a human level, it's a very difficult decision because I don't like the idea that there might be an element of satisfaction for some people that he's not in the team. I'm probably more annoyed by that than he is. But I think he's had to live with that sort of reaction throughout his career. But I know the implications when you've got a big player in your squad and somebody who's a worldwide figure. That obviously has repercussions for him. So that's why we've tried to deal with it in the way that we have.
Katanets, the Slovenia manager, sees Wayne as a danger man and actually hoped that you wouldn't pick him tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's. I never know whether coaches of teams are giving messages for us, for themselves, for their players, for everybody else. But of course, I respect his opinion.
What does it say about Wayne that he's sat next to you right now?
Yeah, I think it talks volumes for his maturity. And for his leadership, most of all. He was very clear from immediately we spoke that he wanted to do this. I asked him to reflect on that because I wasn't 100% certain it was the right thing to do. But when we spoke again later yesterday evening, I think it was. And you can see how well he's spoken and what it means to him to captain his country. I go back to Saturday where people forget those that haven't turned out for their country, and they focus all the attention on those that have given more than any others for their country. And I don't get that at all. I think I remember Sven talking about Wayne when he was a youngster and saying, look after him, he's your future, and I'm not sure we've always done that.
Wayne, are you determined? Are you philosophical about this decision? How do you react to it right now?
I'm positive. Of course, I want to play, as I said before, but I'm in a positive frame of mind. I'm ready to come on if needed. And to be honest, hopefully I'm not needed. Hopefully we can win the game, and I don't have to come on to try and help us win it. But no, I think I understand it's a difficult decision. For Gareth, I respect his decision totally, and all I can do is prepare myself for the game tomorrow and be ready if called upon.
What sort of words of advice and wisdom will you have for Jordan Henderson as he leads England?
I think Jordan's a fantastic leader. I think echo what Gareth said. He's took an incredibly difficult job over from Steven Gerrard at Liverpool, and he's really grew into that position. I think he's a fantastic player with great leadership qualities, and he deserves a chance tomorrow night to captain England. I'm sure for him it'll be a really proud moment, and for his family, because it's the first time you do it, it's an incredibly proud moment.
Gareth, we saw some of the scorelines at the weekend between the home nations and other countries, scorelines that perhaps surprised a few people. If there is a gap in international football between certain teams, is that gap visibly closing now? Yeah,
I think we saw that in the summer in the European Championships. Every team is really well organised, really well drilled. We played a country with a small population, but their defensive setup, their organisation makes it very difficult to break them down. And every country has some talented players who can hurt you. So you've got to respect that. I think as professionals we understand that. I accept the supporters always view that we should win comfortably in every game that we go out and play, but the realities of that are often very different.
Hi, Wayne Gabriel, Clark ITV. You obviously respect the manager's decision. Were you surprised at it?
No, I think it's football. I think he's got 23 players here to select from. So it's football. I've played 13 years non-stop for England, give everything, and a time comes where, you know, the manager, you're not the first name on the team sheet, which I have been in the past, but you know, it's a opportunity for other players to come in and try and do well. And as far as I'm concerned, all I can do is keep working hard and making sure I'm ready when needed.
Gareth talked about your coaching qualities. What will be your role building up to kick-off then in the dressing room with some of the players, all of the players?
Exactly the same as it would be if I was playing. I think making sure I prepare myself right, making sure the players are prepared right, and you know, just final messages to the team before we go out. So there'll be no change in that.
You scored the win here last time. You've scored 14 goals in the last 16 qualifiers, so there's an amount that's being left out. Do you think Slovenia will feel they've got more of a chance without you in the England team?
Again, I think that's something you'd have to ask their manager or players. All I can do is prepare and be ready.
And is there anything you feel you need to rediscover in your game right now? A lot of people are saying things from outside. Within yourself, what do you feel about your game?
Yeah, I think people are entitled to opinions from the outside, but I've said many times the opinions I listen to is my coaches, my teammates, and the people who are close to me. People with opinions from the outside can say what they want. It's not really something I'm too fussed about.
So how do you feel about your game right now?
My game now, I think it's, of course, I'm not denying it's in a difficult period. Obviously, being on the bench the last few games for Manchester United, but that's part of football. I have to work hard, and you know, when I'm needed for both club and country, then make sure I'm ready.
Any further questions? Thank you very much.